Hi, this is Toby from LITH-TECH Mobility. So unfortunately I lied to you in the last video, and this video is not going to be on curbs and cambers because I sadly missed out a few key important parts to part one of our maintenance video. So if you haven't seen the part one, go back and watch that one first. We basically cover how to look after and maintain your wheelchair so you never need to spend a penny on servicing it. We touch on going around tightening all the bolts and how to maintain your chair like that, and also how to clean your chair so it's going to make your chair last as long as possible for you. So unfortunately I missed out a couple of key points. So the two things that I missed out is one, battery maintenance. So we had a lot of issues in COVID time, even though we do state it in our manuals on battery maintenance and how to best look after your batteries. We had a lot of people that obviously weren't using their wheelchairs. Their chairs were being put into storage, into their garages, whatever, and the batteries were basically not being charged for a year and a half in some situations. And then we were getting lots of calls basically saying, you know, our batteries used to last sort of 10 miles of range and now they're lasting 4. What's going on? Or even a couple of people on some of our older style batteries which aren't as higher in technology, you know, from when we first started out in 2017, whose batteries died altogether. To look after your batteries, you do need to charge them regularly. But we'll touch on that in a second. So the one biggest thing I missed out on is another place to tighten. So on any fork, whether it be our Smart Chair X, which is a sort of a more plasticky, heavy duty plastic fork, or we've got these metal ones here. Under this cap here, you've basically got a socket and a sort of a socket nut, and you have one under here. So the two things you need for this is you need either a socket set or you need a spanner, or one of both ideally, or you can have a socket under here. And over time, what you'll find is if you can grab your wheel and your fork rattles and moves forward, backward and forward, one, that's dangerous, and two, you're going to need that tightening. You can either take off the wheel, which will give you better access to that bolt, that nut, and bolt, or you can find something small and just like a spanner set and stick it on here, and a socket set on the ratchet on the top. That is one of the most important things to tighten, so I'm sorry I forgot that in the last video, because if you allow that to go too loose, it can almost be dangerous, because what's happening is your forks are going to wobble around. Every time you hit a curb, they're going to wobble, and that's basically how they get loose. It's over rough surfaces and constant bashing of going up and down curbs. They will start to loosen themselves off. So please, 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 as a massive priority, check your front forks, and if they have any play with them, get them sorted, because that could actually be one of the things that would actually be dangerous in a wheelchair to continue using. And obviously I want you guys to be as safe as possible. Okay, so now let's move on to batteries. So like I said, if you don't maintain your batteries correctly, one, you're not going to get as much life out of your batteries as you could potentially get. If you look after your batteries, realistically, on good quality lithium batteries, which is ones we use. I mean, LITH-TECH is actually short for lithium technology, so the idea behind LITH-TECH is we use the best batteries that you can physically buy in the industry to go towards our lithium wheelchairs. But yeah, so good battery maintenance. So charge once a month if you haven't used your chair. If you leave your chair and you're not using a chair and you don't charge your batteries, they'll lose their memory and their life. So charge once a month. It's also a good idea to give them a little bit of use. So in an ideal scenario, if you know you're not going to use your wheelchair, spend 5 minutes just pottering around outside in it, just so your batteries are getting a bit of use, and then give them a full charge. More than likely it'll take half an hour for your batteries to charge, but it does need that. It needs to have something coming in and out of these lithium cells to give it that kind of shock factor, whether it's a bit of use or whether it's a bit of charge. They hate doing nothing. They like having some sort of activity. Times to charge your wheelchair. So I'm just going to bring the camera now onto here. Two things you don't want to do. You never ever want to use your wheelchair so much that you drain all of your battery life and you basically are out and about and you stop dead. If you drain your battery so much that you physically stop, that's bad for the batteries. The other thing you don't want to do is you don't want to, say you've got full charge, you don't want to go up to your local village shop, get your pint of milk, come home, stick your charger in the end of your charger, joystick, put your chair on charge, and then tomorrow, the next day, you go up to your local shop, you get your morning paper, and you come back, you put your chair on charge. What that basically is called is almost trickle charging. You're basically charging your wheelchair for absolutely no reason. If you've done your 250-yard journey there and back every single day, you wouldn't have even used that first dash of battery. So basically you're wasting charges. Good quality lithium batteries have about 1,000 charges in them. So if you're going and charging your wheelchair every single day, you do that for 1 year, that's 365 pointless charges you would have done. So yeah, only charge your battery wheelchair when you really, really need it. The ideal scenario is to drain on here your battery 85 to 90%, which usually means all the way down to that very last amber, or when it just hits the red. Try not to drain it too far into the red, because one, you'll probably end up going out in it and you'll end up running out of battery, so you'll get stranded and that'll upset you. And two, it's just not good protocol for charging your batteries. The other thing is, whatever you do not leave your wheelchair on charge. I had a customer come in the other day and they said, oh yeah, I just leave my wheelchair on charge the whole time. And I was just like, yeah, not a good idea. That's incredibly bad for the battery. Borderline dangerous. You don't really want to set your house on fire either. So yeah, don't do that. Charge your wheelchair when you actually need it. The one time this rule is completely blows out the window is, let's say you've only used your greens and you've still got your 3 ambers and your red, but you know you've got a massive day out to, say, Legoland or to a National Trust park where you know you're going to use a whole day's worth of battery. Please, please, please don't just listen to me say you've got to drain your battery at 80%. Be practical. Charge your wheelchair if you know you need it for a full day the next day, because the last thing you want again is to run out of battery and spoil your day out. Okay, that's pretty much it. Obviously, there's 2 ways of charging your wheelchairs. You can charge them through your joystick, which on some wheelchairs it will look a bit different. So I'll just show you the portal on our newer ones. So all the newer ones will be a small 3-pin. Our older models are a bigger 3-pin. So if you charge, when you're using your batteries, you're going to be sucking power equally from both batteries when you're out and about. So the easiest and quickest way to charge is by having your joystick turned off, putting your charger in the end of your joystick portal and charging it up. Best time to do it is overnight. So charge it while you sleep, so you've always got use of your batteries during the day. You can do it from an unfolded position, or you can even do it like a folding position like that. Let's pretend you've got your plug socket at your home here. You can literally charge it right next to your plug socket with full access to that port, looking down on it. So it makes life really, really easy. Obviously, the other way to charge your wheelchair batteries is by doing it directly into the batteries. So I pulled one out earlier. So this is what your charger looks like. This end obviously goes in your wall, and this end goes directly into the batteries. The advantage of charging your batteries off the chair, if one's in a hotel type environment and you're not allowed to take your chair up to the room, means you can take your batteries out. And a lot of our batteries pop out very quickly, just with a tab, and that means you can then take your batteries up to the room to charge. Or a lot of our customers like to leave their chair in the car, and then you can remove your batteries and charge them in the home, and then when you go out, you just pop them back into your chair. And it saves time to bring your chair in and out of the car the whole time. One thing I will say is, obviously, we live in a quite temperamental weather environment as a country. So 2 things you don't want to be doing is, we don't really get hot enough, luckily, but last year it did get into the 30s. You don't want to be leaving your wheelchair in direct sunlight for an extended period of time when it gets into the very high, late 20s, 30s. The other thing you don't want to do, or certainly if it's very hot in your car, you don't want to be leaving your wheelchair in the car when it kind of amplifies that whole effect of heat, because it's bad for your batteries, it's borderline dangerous. And the other thing, your batteries will cease to work or charge, well, they're certainly damaged, could potentially damage the batteries in any temperatures below 0. So when you're in the winter, especially if you live in Scotland like a lot of our customers do and things like that, where it gets really cold, do not leave your wheelchair in the car once it gets past 0, or in the garage once it gets past 0. Or if you're going to, please bring your batteries inside. Your control unit, which is your brain of the chair, again, doesn't really like low temperatures either, so the best thing is to bring your chair inside, full stop, if you physically can, but certainly try and look after your batteries, because the batteries are the one thing in the chair which are pretty expensive, and you do need to look after them, really, because technically that's your lifeline and you don't want them to run out. I'm pretty sure now, through the 2 videos, I've covered everything. If I haven't, please let me know in the comments, and I will do my best to do a part 3 and make even more of an arse out of myself. Alright, see you on the next video.